the pyramid that collapses without a foundation. Imagine standing in front of a majestic pyramid, wide at the base, tapering smoothly toward the sky. You're mesmerized by its symmetry, its strength, its sense of permanence. Now, imagine the same structure, except this time it's built on sand. No bedrock, no anchors, just an illusion of strength. One gust of wind, one shift in pressure, and the entire monument crumbles. This is how most people are building wealth today. They're chasing the top, investments, passive income, crypto gains, while neglecting the foundation beneath. They read about millionaires who made it big, watch TikToks that promise quick flips, and believe that wealth is about hacking your way to the top. But in truth, building wealth is not about stacking money high, it's about stacking it right. A pyramid isn't strong because it reaches far upward. It's strong because its base is unshakable. This video is not just another guide to get rich. It's a blueprint for building wealth that lasts. Wealth that doesn't collapse the moment life punches you in the face. We'll walk through the 8 layers of the wealth pyramid, from the invisible mental patterns that silently rule your decisions to the legacy you leave behind. We'll uncover why skipping even one level puts your future at risk and why most people are unknowingly constructing financial castles on sand. You've been taught to focus on the top. Today, we're flipping that logic on its head. Because if your foundation is cracked, it doesn't matter how fancy your investment portfolio looks. You don't need more income. You need more stability. You don't need to climb higher. You need to build deeper. So let's begin, because until you fix the bottom, the top will never hold. Level 1, mindset, the bedrock of real wealth. If money were bricks, then mindset is the ground those bricks rest upon. You can learn all the financial tricks in the world, how to budget, where to invest, when to buy low and sell high, but if your thinking is flawed, your fortune is already unstable. The richest people on earth didn't start with riches. They started with beliefs that guided their behavior, their risks, their growth. Beliefs that most people never examine. Let's begin with a hard truth. Most people are poor, not because they lack money, but because they've never learned how to think like someone who builds wealth. They inherit a mindset from their parents, their environment, their school system, one rooted in survival, not success. It's a mindset of don't lose instead of here's how to win, of play it safe instead of build it strong. And the worst part? They pass it on without question. The scarcity operating system. The default programming for most people is scarcity. There's never enough. If I have more, someone else will have less. Rich people are selfish. Money is hard to make. I'm just not good with finances. Sound familiar? This mindset breeds fear. Fear of spending, fear of investing, fear of learning. It creates people who hoard but never grow, who cling but never build, who work endlessly but remain financially stagnant. It convinces them that money is this elusive external monster to chase instead of an internal skill to cultivate. But what if we flipped the script? The abundance shift. Wealthy people operate on a completely different belief system. Money flows to value. If I lose money, I learn and I rebuild smarter. I don't need to know everything. I need to take action and course correct. Time is more valuable than money. Money is not my identity, it's a tool I master. This is the abundance mindset. And no, it's not magic thinking. It's about choosing a mental operating system that empowers growth rather than shrink possibility. The person with a poor mindset says, I can't afford it. The person with a rich mindset says, how can I afford it? One slams the door, the other opens it to ideas, options, action. Victim versus owner. The foundation of all wealth building is ownership, not just of your assets, but of your story, your time, your decisions. Poor mindsets externalize everything. The economy is bad. I wasn't born into wealth. My job doesn't pay enough. The government makes it impossible to succeed. But wealthy mindsets internalize control. I can adapt faster than the market can hurt me. I create opportunities through skill, not luck. My income is my responsibility, not my employer's. When you believe your life is dictated by forces you can't control, you stop trying. You wait for help. You accept less, and slowly you begin to resent those who refuse to wait like you. True wealth doesn't begin in your bank account. It begins in your brain. The cost of a broken mindset. Here's the hidden tragedy. People with broken mindsets make the same money as everyone else, but they bleed it through self-sabotage. They spend to escape boredom. They buy liabilities disguised as status. They procrastinate on investing because it's risky. They never ask for a raise because they don't believe they're worth it. They avoid talking about money altogether because they feel shame. And yet they think their problem is income. It's not. It's identity. Until you see yourself as someone who builds wealth, no tactic, tip, or trick will stick. It's like trying to plant flowers in poisoned soil. Reprogramming the base layer. So how do you build the bedrock of wealth? Audit your beliefs. Write down what you really believe about money, success, rich people, and your own capabilities. Where did those beliefs come from? Are they true or just familiar? Surround yourself with wealthy voices, not flashy influencers, but people who speak with clarity, logic, and long-term thinking. Read books, listen to podcasts, watch how they think, not just what they buy. Redefine your relationship with failure. Wealthy minds see failure as tuition. Broke minds see it as proof they're not cut out for success. Learn to fail forward. Practice identity-based growth. Don't just try to save money, become someone who sees themselves as a saver. Don't dabble in investing, become someone who learns to grow money as a core part of who they are. Stop waiting for permission. No one will tap you on the shoulder and say, "You're allowed to be rich now." That's your job. Before you build the next level of your financial pyramid, stop. Look down. If the ground beneath you is still cracked with fear, doubt, and limitation, you're not ready to rise. Mindset is not optional. It's not fluffy. It's not motivational filler. It's structural. And without it, the rest of your wealth will collapse, slowly, silently, and completely. Let's move to the next level, habits, where mindset becomes motion.
Level 2. Habits. Your daily decisions that shape your destiny. If mindset is the foundation of the wealth pyramid, then habits are the bricks, placed one by one, day after day, forming the actual structure of your life. Here's the truth. Wealth is rarely built in leaps. It's built in loops. Tiny loops, daily loops, decisions so small they seem invisible until you zoom out and realize they've shaped your entire financial future. Everyone wants big results, but very few are willing to master the small disciplines that produce them. The myth of motivation. Motivation is what most people rely on when trying to fix their finances. This time, I'll finally stick to a budget. This year, I'll actually invest. I need to be more disciplined. But motivation is a terrible fuel. It's emotional. It fades. It depends on energy and mood. And guess what? Wealth doesn't care how you feel. It rewards consistency, not intensity. Wealthy people don't get rich because they're inspired every day. They get rich because their habits are automated. Their money flows, decisions, and behaviors are set up to happen without effort. They don't make 50 choices a day. They make 3 choices once and let the system repeat itself forever. Micro habits, macro impact. Let's break down the invisible forces that are either building or breaking your financial future right now. 1. The morning habit. How you begin your day determines your relationship with time and attention. Most broke people start their day reacting, scrolling social media, checking emails, hitting snooze. Rich mindsets start proactively. They plan, they journal, they review their goals. Even 10 minutes of clarity in the morning can prevent 10 hours of drift. 2. The spending habit. Every purchase is a vote for who you want to become. Yet most people swipe their cards unconsciously, bored, stressed, triggered. Wealthy individuals track their money, not to be cheap, but to be aware.
Awareness leads to intention. Intention leads to control. Control leads to freedom. If you don't track where your money is going, you've already lost it. 3. The information habit. What do you consume every day? Drama or data? Gossip or growth? Poor minds feed on entertainment. Rich minds feed on education. Even just replacing 15 minutes of YouTube noise with a podcast on investing compounds your intelligence in a year. The wealthiest people in the world are readers, learners, not because they're nerds, but because financial advantage comes from mental leverage. 4. The delay habit. Can you delay gratification? This one habit predicts success more than any IQ test or degree ever will. If you always need to feel good now, you will always trade long-term wealth for short-term dopamine. Every time you delay a purchase, invest instead, or choose simplicity over luxury, you strengthen your wealth muscles. And like muscles, wealth habits compound. 5. The review habit. Once a week, that's all it takes. Wealthy people sit down, even for 20 minutes, and look at where their money went, what's working, what needs to change. It's not complex, it's just consistent. They don't fear their finances, they face them. You are what you repeat. You don't rise to the level of your dreams, you fall to the level of your habits. Want to be someone who builds wealth? Then your calendar must reflect it. Your behavior must mirror it. Your day must quietly confirm it, even when no one's watching. Let's make this practical. Here's a 5-minute audit you can do today. Write down 3 habits that are costing you money, 3 habits that are helping you grow, 1 habit you want to eliminate, 1 habit you want to add. And then, make the system easier. Most people fail because their system depends on willpower. Instead, create triggers, build in accountability, automate what you can. Because in the end, wealth isn't built by the best plan, it's built by the most sustainable habits. Habit, not hustle. One more thing. Wealth habits are not about grinding harder, they're about compounding smarter. It's not about working more hours, it's about building a life that runs even when you rest. A simple auto transfer into savings, a recurring investment into index funds, a weekly check-in with your goals, a daily budget check that takes 60 seconds. That's how pyramids are built, one intentional block at a time. Now that we've laid down the mental and behavioral groundwork, let's move to the next level, income. Because once your mind and habits are aligned, it's time to scale your earning power. Not just chase money, but create engines of it.
Level 3. Income. Why earning is not the same as wealth. Most people believe that making more money will solve their financial problems. It's a seductive idea. If only I had a higher paying job, if only I earned 6 figures, then I'd finally be okay. But here's the cold, hard truth. Income is not wealth. In fact, a high income can actually hide a bigger financial disaster because it gives you the illusion of success while quietly leaking freedom behind the scenes. Let's break this myth once and for all. Income is a stream, not a reservoir. Think of income as a stream of water. Just because the stream flows fast doesn't mean it fills your bucket. If your bucket is cracked, or worse, if you don't even have one, then all that flow amounts to nothing. Here's what that looks like in real life. A doctor earning $300,000 a year, but drowning in lifestyle debt. A lawyer in a luxury apartment who's one missed paycheck away from collapse. An influencer making $50K a month, but spending $55K to stay relevant. Their income is big, but their financial life is fragile. You don't want income that just funds your spending. You want income that funds your freedom. The 2 kinds of income thinkers. There are 2 kinds of people in the income game. The earn and spend thinker. These people see income as a permission slip to upgrade everything. I got a raise, time for a new car. I closed a deal, let's go on vacation. I deserve this after working so hard. The problem is that they've chained their lifestyle to their labor. If the income stops, the life collapses. The earn and expand thinker. These people treat income as fuel, not to burn, but to multiply. They allocate percentages before they celebrate. They invest in skills that compound earnings. They use income to build systems, not just moments. These are the people who quietly grow rich, not from a single big break, but from choosing the long game every time. The trap of high-income slavery. One of the greatest ironies in modern life is the six-figure trap. People work their way into high-paying careers only to realize they're more stuck than ever. Why? Because they built a life that requires the income to survive. Mortgages that demand every paycheck, car leases tied to their image, social circles that expect constant displays of success, work hours that leave no room to build anything else. So they work more to afford the life they built that now requires more work, and the cycle tightens like a noose. This is not freedom. This is golden handcuffs. The income power formula. Real financial intelligence is not just make more, it's knowing how to use income strategically to buy leverage. Here's a basic model. Income power equals amount times control times scalability and freedom. Let's break it down. Amount, yes, the number matters, but it's only the beginning. Control. Do you own the stream or are you renting your time? Can someone fire you tomorrow? Scalability. Can you earn more without working more? And freedom. Does this income give you space to build, or does it trap you into always working to maintain it? A teacher making $50K a year who invests $500 a month and builds an online course in her spare time may be more financially powerful than a tech exec making $200K but trapped in a soul-crushing, time-stealing role. From linear to leveraged income. Here's how the rich think about income. They transition from linear to leveraged. Linear income, trade time for money. You stop working, you stop earning. Leveraged income, use systems, assets, or audiences to earn continuously. You stop working, the money still flows. This doesn't happen overnight, but every dollar you save, every skill you learn, every system you build brings you closer to the tipping point. Even a $50 a month passive stream is more powerful than a $500 bonus because it teaches you that your money can work too. Practical shifts you can make. Let's make this actionable. Here's how to escape the income illusion. Track your sources of income. List all your income streams. How many rely directly on your time? How many could survive without you? Set rules for new income. Every time you get a raise, allocate a portion before you increase your lifestyle. Example, 50% to investing, 30% to savings, 20% to lifestyle upgrades. Build a skill that scales. Coding, content creation, sales, public speaking, investing, online marketing. These aren't just trendy. They're levers that expand income beyond your hours. Say no to income that destroys freedom. Not all money is worth it. High-paying jobs that ruin your health, kill your spirit, or consume your life are secretly stealing from your wealth pyramid. Visualize your income timeline. Where is your income going in 5 years, 10 years? Are you building streams or just surviving the next wave? Income is a powerful part of the pyramid, but only if it rests on mindset and habits. If not, it becomes a fragile tower, easy to shake, quick to fall. In the next layer, we go deeper into expenses, the leaks in the system that quietly sink the whole structure. Because no matter how much you earn, if you don't control what flows out, wealth remains an illusion.
Part 4. Expenses, the silent killer beneath your success. Most people lose their fortune not by one big mistake, but by 1,000 quiet cuts. They focus so much on making money, they forget the enemy that lives inside their own financial house: uncontrolled expenses. Every dollar you earn is a soldier in your financial army, and every dollar you spend without intention is a soldier lost, never to return. This is where most people sabotage themselves, not because they're reckless, not because they're stupid, but because they don't even see it happening. Let's make it visible. Lifestyle creep, the rich man's poverty. You've probably heard the phrase, the more I earn, the more I spend. That's not just a joke, it's a trap. It's called lifestyle creep, and it's the quietest wealth killer in modern life. Here's how it works. You get a raise, you move to a bigger apartment. You close a deal, you buy a new car. You earn a bonus, you upgrade your phone, wardrobe, vacations. On the surface, you are leveling up. But in reality, you're just raising the price of being you. The result? You're still living paycheck to paycheck, just with better furniture. The illusion of affordability. In today's world, you don't need money to look rich. You only need credit. Buy now, pay later. 0% interest, monthly installments. It feels like freedom, but it's actually a cage, because what you owe slowly eats away what you could have owned. Most people don't go broke buying dumb things. They go broke buying acceptable things. A car within their means, a house they can handle, a vacation they deserved, a wedding for the memories. But they never pause to ask, do these expenses serve my future or just satisfy my present? The emotional expense pattern. Expenses are never just about numbers. They're about emotions. Boredom makes you shop online. Stress makes you eat out. Insecurity makes you upgrade your wardrobe. Loneliness makes you overspend on social experiences. Fear of missing out makes you buy into trends. And here's the kicker. Most people don't track their spending because they're bad with math. They avoid it because they feel shame. So they look away, and that blindness becomes bankruptcy. The expense audit. Face the flow. Let's make this practical. You cannot build wealth until you face your expenses with brutal honesty. Step 1. Track everything for 30 days. Use an app, spreadsheet, notebook, anything, but track every dollar. You will be shocked. Step 2. Label by emotion and outcome. For each expense, ask, what emotion led to this? Did this move me forward or hold me in place? You'll start seeing patterns. Not financial patterns, emotional ones. Step 3, categorize by function. Break spending into essentials, survival, utilities, function, growth, investment in self or future, vanity, status, aesthetics, ego, escape, coping, distraction. This isn't to shame, it's to reclaim power. The rule of the leak. Here's a brutal financial truth. If you don't fix a $5 leak, you'll never handle a $500K windfall. Why? Because it's not about how much is coming in. It's about how much you retain. Wealth isn't measured by income. It's measured by the gap between your income and your lifestyle. Income minus expenses equals margin. Margin equals power. If your margin is 0, your power is 0, no matter how much you earn. Designing an intentional spending system. You don't need to become a minimalist monk, but you do need to spend on purpose. Here's a simple system. Fixed percent allocation. Every time income comes in, divide it immediately. 50% living needs, 20% investments, 10% savings, 10% learning, 10% fun. Adjust the percentages, but lock the categories. Automatic transfers. If you rely on willpower to save or invest, you've already lost. Automate it. Out of sight, out of temptation. Set anti-budget rules. For example, no subscriptions without a calendar review. No clothing purchases unless something is donated. No Uber if public transport is available. These micro rules prevent macro regret. Celebrate intentional spending. Don't just cut for the sake of cutting. Learn to enjoy spending that aligns with your vision. Books, courses, business tools, travel for experience, not ego. When you align spending with becoming, your wallet and your identity evolve together. Build a life that costs less than it creates. This is the golden rule of expenses. Your life should cost less than it generates in income, joy, and freedom. If your lifestyle demands constant hustle, you're not rich, you're trapped. Build a life that supports your mission, not one that requires your exhaustion. Because wealth doesn't grow in chaotic soil. It grows in calm. It grows in space. It grows in the margin you protect. In the next level of the pyramid, we'll move from plugging leaks to building a buffer, where savings become your first line of defense and your platform for power.
Part 5. Savings, the sandbag that buys you time. Most people think of savings as boring, something old-fashioned, something responsible. They say things like, "I'll save when I make more," or "Why save when I could invest?" But here's the truth the wealthy know. Savings isn't about getting rich. It's about not going poor. Savings is what stands between you and desperation. It's not flashy. It doesn't trend on social media, but it's the real safety net, the sandbag at the bottom of your pyramid that keeps the storm from flooding your future. Let's talk about why savings is not just smart, it's strategic. Savings equals time control. Here's the equation no one teaches you in school. Money equals time. Savings equals time without pressure. If you lose your job today, how long can you live without panic? If your business stalls, how long before you're forced into decisions driven by fear? Wealthy people don't save because they're scared. They save because they love options. They know that the person with the most options wins. The purpose of savings. Savings has 3 core missions. Survival buffer. This is your emergency fund, your life just punched me in the face money. It protects you from job loss, medical issues, car breakdowns, family emergencies. Most experts recommend 3 to 6 months of living expenses. Wealth builders push for 12. Opportunity fund. This is the money that lets you say yes when others have to say no. A business deal, a training program, a real estate down payment, buying assets when markets crash. While others are stuck scrambling, you're ready. Peace of mind. This one isn't quantifiable, but it's powerful. Knowing you could walk away, take a break, or pivot careers at any time gives you psychological freedom. That clarity alone makes you sharper, calmer, and less reactive. The biggest excuse? I can't afford to save. Most people say this, but what they really mean is, I've built a lifestyle that consumes 100% of my income. Here's the truth. If you can't save when you earn a little, you won't save when you earn a lot. Because saving is not a number, it's a habit, a value, a mindset. You save to gain time, not to collect dust. Even $5 a month saved intentionally matters because it builds the identity of someone who protects their future. How the wealthy treat savings. They don't hope to save, they automate it. They prioritize it. They segregate it. Here's their system. Pay yourself first. Before rent, bills, or food, set aside a fixed percent of income. Even just 10%. This is non-negotiable. Name every dollar. Create separate buckets for different savings goals. Emergency fund, opportunity fund, vacation fund, big purchase fund. When money has a purpose, it doesn't wander. Keep savings hard to touch. Use a separate bank, no debit card, no easy transfers. Friction protects your future. Set emotional triggers. Example, every time you feel the urge to impulse buy online, transfer $10 into savings instead. Turn weakness into wealth. The 3 levels of savings strategy. Let's break it down. Level 1, reactive saver. Only saves if something is left at month's end. Emotionally driven. No system, just survival. Result? Constant stress, no progress.
Level 2, structured saver. Has a percentage plan, uses automation, maintains emergency and short-term funds. Result, stability, confidence. Level 3, strategic saver. Saves aggressively for opportunity, not just defense. Views savings as fuel for offense, not just protection. Builds buffers that create leverage. Result, flexibility, advantage, freedom. Which level are you? More importantly, which level are you willing to become? Savings versus investing, the eternal debate. People often ask, should I save or invest? Answer, both, but in order. Savings comes first because you can't invest well if you're under stress. You need a cushion to survive market downturns. You can't take risks if you're one emergency from collapse. So think of it this way. Savings protects the downside, investing builds the upside. You need both to grow without fear. Small habits that build big buffers. Round up every purchase and save the difference. Save your tax refund or bonus before you touch it. Do a no-spend weekend once a month. Transfer money into savings every time you say no to an unnecessary purchase. Sell unused items and put 100% into savings. These aren't just tricks, they're votes for your future self. Your first financial freedom number. Want motivation to save? Here's a powerful exercise. Write down your monthly basic expenses. Multiply by 6, that's your security number. Multiply by 12, that's your stability number. Multiply by 24, that's your freedom number. Make it visual, put it on your wall. Track your progress. Every dollar saved gets you closer to owning your time. Savings doesn't make you rich, but it does something far better. It makes you unshakable. And once your financial structure is stable, we move to the most exciting part of the pyramid, investing. Because the next step isn't about surviving, it's about scaling.
Part 6, investments. How to grow trees instead of just storing seeds. You can't save your way to wealth. Let's be clear, saving protects your future, but investing grows it. If saving is like storing seeds in a vault, then investing is planting those seeds in fertile ground and letting time, knowledge, and patience grow them into forests. Most people never reach real financial freedom because they stop at saving. They fear risk, wait for the perfect moment, or think investing is only for the rich. But here's the truth. If you don't learn how to make your money work while you sleep, you will work for money until you die. The wealth rule of growth. Let's review the pyramid so far. Mindset gives you the foundation. Habits give you the rhythm. Income gives you the fuel. Expenses give you the space. Savings give you the safety net. Now investing gives you the engine. It's the difference between financial security and financial multiplication. Wealthy people don't just earn money, they grow it. Why most people avoid investing? Fear of loss. What if I lose it all? The real question should be, what if you don't grow it at all? Overwhelm and complexity. Stocks, bonds, ETFs, crypto, real estate, mutual funds. It sounds like a foreign language, so they do nothing. The perfection trap. They wait until they know everything before starting. Years pass, nothing happens. Lack of vision. They don't know what they're building, so investing feels abstract. No clarity equals no action. But remember, you don't need to be an expert. You need to be consistent. The mindset of an investor. Investors think in decades, not days. They understand volatility is not loss, it's motion. They don't panic when the market drops. They buy more. They don't chase trends. They study fundamentals. They don't look for the next big thing. They build steady things.
And most importantly, they don't gamble, they strategize. The core principles of smart investing. Let's simplify everything into 5 timeless principles. 1. Start early, even if it's small. Thanks to compound interest, $100 invested today is worth more than $1,000 10 years from now. The sooner you start, the less you need to do later. 2. Invest consistently, not emotionally. Set up automatic investments, monthly, no matter what. Don't try to time the market. Focus on time in the market. 3. Diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Stocks, bonds, index funds, real estate, business ventures. A strong portfolio is like a farm. Some crops boom, some don't, but overall, the land keeps producing. 4. Understand what you invest in. If you don't understand how it works, don't put your money in it. Study, learn, ask. Your financial literacy is your insurance. 5. Hold long. React less. The biggest profits go to those who wait. Markets fluctuate. Don't sell just because of noise. Types of investments for the everyday builder. You don't need millions to start investing. Here's where to begin. A. Index funds and ETFs. Low-cost, diversified, long-term vehicles. Track the overall market, like the S&P 500. Perfect for set-it-and-forget-it investors. B. Real estate. Start small. REITs, R-E-I-Ts, for beginners. Rental properties if you have time or skill. Real estate gives cash flow plus appreciation. C. Dividend stocks. These pay you regularly. Best for creating income streams. D. Skill-based investments. Courses, coaching, certifications that boost your earning power. Best ROI you'll ever see is in you. E. Business or side hustle. Riskier, but higher upside. Requires effort and time, but builds something that grows beyond you. How much should you invest? A simple rule of thumb. Invest 20% of your income, once your emergency fund is solid. If that sounds like too much, start with 5%. The point isn't the amount, it's the identity you're creating. I am someone who grows money. Common investment mistakes to avoid. Following hype. Just because it's trending doesn't mean it's smart. Selling in panic. Fear-driven exits are the enemy of compounding. Waiting too long to start. Delay costs more than any bad investment. Ignoring fees. High-fee products silently steal your future. Investing without a goal. You must know why you're investing to make good decisions. The power of compound growth. Let's run a simple example. $200 per month invested at 8% return. After 10 years, approximately $36,000. After 20 years, approximately $114,000. After 30 years, approximately $276,000. That's the magic of time. What wealthy people know that you don't? They don't chase more, they chase multiplication. They see investing not as a money move, but a legacy move. They teach their kids not just to save, but to own. They use investing to escape the time trap. They don't work harder, they make their money work harder. You don't need to be brilliant. You don't need to start big. You just need to start and keep going. Because if savings buys you time, investing buys you options. And the one with the most options is the one with the most freedom. In the next level of the wealth pyramid, we'll explore something most people forget: protection. Because building wealth is one thing, but keeping it, that's another game entirely. Part 7. Protection. Insurance, legal, and financial shields. You've built the foundation. You've set the habits. You've grown the income, controlled the outflow, saved the margin, and planted the seeds of investment. But here's a painful truth most people never learn until it's too late. It doesn't matter how tall your pyramid is. If it's not protected, it can collapse overnight. Wealth isn't just about building, it's also about defending. Because when disaster strikes, and it always does, the unprotected get wiped out. Let's explore the invisible shields the rich use to keep what they've built. Wealth is attractive, even to threats. The moment you start growing wealth, you become more visible to predators, to taxes, to lawsuits, to unexpected crises. The rich don't just grow their assets, they fortify them. They build moats, they install shields. They think in terms of survivability, not just success. 3 types of wealth protection. 1. Insurance, your financial airbag. Insurance isn't exciting, it's not sexy, but it's what keeps your financial vehicle from total loss in a crash. The wealthy don't view insurance as a cost, they view it as risk transfer. Key insurances you need to consider. Health insurance. One hospital visit can bankrupt an unprepared person. Disability insurance. What if you couldn't work for 6 to 12 months? Life insurance. Protects your loved ones and locks in your legacy. Homeowner or renter insurance. Don't let one fire or theft erase your safety net. Liability coverage, especially if you own a business or rental property. Pro tip: look for policies with high deductibles plus strong coverage. You're insuring for disaster, not inconvenience. 2. Legal structure, the invisible armor. The poor own everything in their name. The rich use entities to create layers of legal protection. This is what that looks like. LLCs, limited liability companies, used to protect personal assets from business risks. Trusts, used to protect wealth for future generations and avoid probate courts. S-corps, C-corps, used for tax optimization, liability separation, and profit distribution. This is where smart people become bulletproof. If someone sues you, can they reach your home, your savings, your investments? If yes, your pyramid is naked. Wealth rule: own nothing, control everything. It's not about hiding, it's about structure. A properly structured pyramid is legally invisible, financially flexible, and nearly impossible to destroy. 3. Emergency preparedness. Plan for rain before it falls. This isn't just about money, it's about resilience. Do you have cash in multiple banks in case one locks you out? Do you have backup access to passwords, accounts, critical documents? Do you have a "what if I die tomorrow" file so your family knows what to do? Do you have income sources that can survive you being offline for a month? The people who survive economic storms aren't the smartest. They're the most prepared. Financial protection habits of the wealthy. Annual policy review. Every year, the wealthy sit down with their financial team and review insurance needs, entity structures, asset ownership, tax strategies. Multi-layered banking. One checking, one emergency savings, one long-term reserve, possibly multiple institutions. Redundancy is protection. Secure storage of documents, offline plus online, encrypted, accessible to your heirs, not hackers. Estate planning early, a will, a trust, a healthcare directive. Not because you expect to die, but because you care who suffers if you don't prepare. The pain of not being protected. Let's be blunt. One lawsuit can destroy your business. One car crash can take your house. One medical event can wipe your savings. One missed insurance payment can cost you years of progress. One messy death can leave your kids fighting in court for crumbs. Most people don't protect their wealth because they don't believe they have any. But protection isn't just for millionaires. It's for builders, and that includes you. Peace is the real flex. You know what's better than showing off wealth? Sleeping at night knowing that you're covered, your family is safe, your assets are shielded, your pyramid won't fall if lightning strikes. Because real wealth is not just what you build, it's what you can't lose easily. We've now built and fortified your pyramid from the ground up, but there's one level most people never reach: legacy. Because true wealth doesn't stop when you do. It echoes beyond you. Let's explore the final tier of the pyramid. Level 8, legacy. Wealth that lives beyond you.
Part 8, legacy. Wealth that lives beyond you. You can earn. You can save. You can invest. You can even protect. But the final level of the wealth pyramid isn't about you anymore. It's about what survives after you, what continues without you, what changes the world because of you. Legacy is the proof that your wealth wasn't just money. It was meaning. Let's talk about why true wealth is not measured in dollars, but in impact. You will leave a legacy. The question is, what kind? Most people think legacy is only for the ultra-rich, that if you're not a millionaire, you have nothing to pass on. But that's a lie. Everyone leaves a legacy. Some leave money. Some leave debt. Some leave values. Some leave confusion. The question isn't whether you leave one, it's what you'll leave behind and for whom. 3 types of legacy wealth. 1, financial legacy. This is the obvious one: money, assets, investments. But it's not just about inheritance, it's about intention. Did you leave wealth that builds or wealth that burdens? Is your estate clear, legal, structured, or messy, hidden, incomplete? Are your children ready to manage money, or will it manage them? A wise person doesn't just pass on wealth, they pass on financial literacy. The greatest legacy is not what you leave to them, but what you leave in them. 2, emotional and relational legacy. This is what people remember when your name is mentioned. Did you model generosity or greed? Did you teach patience or panic? Did you live for show or for substance? Your relationship with money will become their template. Your fears or freedoms will echo for generations. If you're building wealth at the expense of love, presence, or family, then you're not building a pyramid. You're building a statue to yourself, one that no one will visit. 3, philosophical legacy. What did you believe? What did you stand for? What truths did you live, even when they cost you? Wealth without wisdom creates spoiled heirs. But wisdom passed with wealth creates legacy builders. Don't just leave money. Leave a money mindset. Leave clarity. Leave letters. Leave a blueprint for how to live with purpose, not just with possessions. Building a living legacy now. Legacy isn't what happens when you die. It's what you start building now while you're alive. Ask yourself, how can I teach my kids about money early? How can I give in ways that shape the world, not just impress it? How can I design systems that grow without me? Examples of living legacy? Funding scholarships, supporting causes aligned with your values, starting a family investment fund, creating a library of letters, videos, or journals for your children, documenting lessons learned in business, life, and failure. The legacy letter. Here's one powerful exercise. Write a letter titled, "If I'm Gone Tomorrow." In it, answer what I believe about money, what I regret and what I don't, what I want you to know about success, what matters more than wealth, what I've learned the hard way, what I hope you do with what I built. Then seal it, save it, update it yearly.
it might become the most valuable asset you ever leave behind. You are the ancestor of someone's future. This is not just about you. This is about generations you'll never meet. Will they curse your name or bless it? Will your actions open doors or close them? Will they inherit freedom or just furniture? Your legacy is not just in your will. It's in your willpower, your daily choices, your silent example, your consistent actions. You are planting trees you may never sit under. That's what legacy builders do. The legacy test. Ask yourself, if I died tomorrow, would my family be financially okay? Would they know what I believed and why I lived the way I did? Would they have clarity or confusion? Would they receive assets or just access to chaos? If you're not happy with those answers, the time to fix it is now. Not when you're rich, not when you're retired, not when it's convenient. Now. In the next part, we'll confront the biggest mistake most people make. They build the top of the pyramid first. Let's talk about the illusion of sand and why building wealth backwards is the fastest way to lose it all.
Part 9. The illusion of sand, when you build the top before the base. Imagine a man trying to balance a heavy golden statue on the tip of a needle. That's what most people are doing with their finances. They chase investments before building discipline. They buy assets before controlling spending. They start businesses before managing personal chaos. They copy the rich without understanding what's underneath their success. They're building wealth upside down, and they wonder why it keeps collapsing. This is the illusion of sand, when the surface looks shiny, but underneath, everything is unstable. Let's talk about the dangers of skipping the base and going straight to the top. The fast-track fantasy. We live in a world of 10x your income, passive income in 30 days, crypto millionaires, financial freedom by 25. It all sounds seductive, but here's the part they never tell you. There's no elevator to lasting wealth. There's only the staircase, and every level skipped is a crack in the foundation. What happens when you build on sand? Let's look at the real-life symptoms of building a wealth pyramid backwards. 1. Investing without an emergency fund. One market crash, and you're forced to sell at a loss. One job loss, and you liquidate your future just to survive. Result? Panic, regret, long-term damage. 2. Scaling income without controlling expenses. You make more, but somehow still feel broke. You inflate your lifestyle with every raise. You're chasing more money without solving the real leak. Result? Rich on paper, broke in reality. 3. Starting a business without financial discipline. You mix personal and business expenses. You can't survive slow seasons. You burn out trying to hustle your way out of poor planning. Result? Collapse under pressure. 4. Investing in stocks while drowning in debt. You make 8% in the market while paying 20% in credit card interest. You think you're growing, but you're bleeding faster than you build. Result? False progress, hidden slavery. The social media mirage. You see people flashing Lamborghinis, showing their crypto wallets, claiming 10K weeks from digital assets, but you don't see their debt, their stress, their lack of sleep, their total dependence on constant hustle. You're comparing your real life to someone's highlight reel, and you think you're behind when really you're just more honest. The top of the pyramid is impressive, but the base is what holds it up. The pyramid rebuilt from sand to stone. Let's be clear. You're not late. You're not behind. You're not stupid. You were just taught to focus on the wrong end of the pyramid. So let's fix it, starting now. Here's the corrected order. Mindset. Rewire your beliefs. Habits.
Build tiny daily wins. Income. Expand your earning engine. Expenses. Create breathing room. Savings. Build your security net. Investments. Grow without fear. Protection. Shield what you've built. Legacy. Extend your wealth beyond your lifetime. Every level supports the next. Skip one, and the entire structure wobbles. When you do it right, it feels slow at first. That's the hardest part. It's not flashy. It's not viral. It doesn't impress your friends at brunch. But one day, while others are still chasing shiny hacks, you'll realize you have zero financial stress. You can take 6 months off without worry. You can invest calmly, not desperately. You can help others without hurting yourself. That's wealth. Not just money, but control. And it's only possible when you build on stone, not sand. Reversing the damage. If you realize now that you've built things in the wrong order, breathe. You can fix it. Here's how. Pause expansion. Stop new investments until your foundation is strong. Audit your base. Do you have savings? Do you track expenses? Are your habits automated? Reallocate energy. Focus on discipline before scale. Stop chasing noise. Unfollow hype. Reconnect to timeless principles. Create a 12-month rebuild plan, one level at a time. With intention, not emotion. You're not late. You're getting real. And that's the rarest, richest move of all. In our final section, we'll bring it all together. Because a pyramid isn't just about levels. It's about what it means. Let's move to the final part. Part 10, conclusion, rebuilding from the ground up.
Rebuilding from the ground up. Take a deep breath. You've just walked through the full architecture of true wealth. Not the illusion sold on social media, but the structure that lasts, protects, and multiplies. And now, at the top of this pyramid, it's time to stop and ask yourself, where am I actually building from? Because it's never too late to stop stacking and start strengthening. It's never too late to tear down the weak layers and rebuild with wisdom. Wealth is not a finish line, it's a framework. Recap. The 8 levels of the wealth pyramid. Mindset, the invisible foundation that either supports or sabotages everything. Habits, the silent architects of your financial future. Income, the engine of fuel, but only if it's controlled and directed. Expenses, the leaks that quietly destroy your progress. Savings, your sandbags against life's storms. Investments, your seeds planted to grow in your sleep. Protection, your shields from disaster, debt, and destruction. Legacy, your echo beyond the grave. You don't need to master them all today. You need to commit to climbing deliberately. One level, one habit, one belief. At a time. From survival to sovereignty. Most people are stuck in survival, waiting for the next paycheck,
reacting to every crisis, spending what they make, hoping something clicks one day. But survival is not the goal. Sovereignty is. Sovereignty is when your money reflects your values. When your time belongs to you. When you're not chasing wealth, but directing it. When you own your decisions, your story, and your impact. That's what this pyramid gives you. Not just financial security, but inner stability. The pyramid is not about money. Let's be honest, money is just the material. The real pyramid is built from clarity, discipline, vision, responsibility, love. Creating a life that gives, not just consumes. You're not just building wealth, you're building a life that works even when the world doesn't. The shift starts here. From now on, ask yourself every time you make a financial decision, what level of the pyramid am I building or destroying? Am I strengthening the base or stacking more weight on sand? Am I building something others will admire or something I can stand on? Because no one sees the foundation, they only see the height. But you will feel it when crisis comes, when opportunity knocks, when freedom finally arrives. And when it does, you'll smile, not because you got lucky, but because you built it right. The final word. Wealth is not found at the top. It's forged at the bottom, quietly, daily, brick by brick. You don't need more secrets, you need more structure. So start at the base. Start with your thoughts, then your habits, then your flow, then your systems, then your shield, then your legacy. And one day, without even trying to impress, you'll stand on stone while others sink in sand.